What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the chaos, controversy, and spectacle that unfolded at Donald Trump's rally in New York City's Madison Square Garden. From Rudy Giuliani receiving a standing ovation just days after a court ordered him to relinquish personal assets, to comedian Tony Hinchcliffe's racially charged jokes and the intense rhetoric from the stage, there was no shortage of explosive moments. This rally wasn't just any political gathering. It was a full-blown show with jaw-dropping twists and turns, as familiar faces in Trump's orbit pushed some eyebrow-raising narratives. Before we start, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth political commentary and updates. Let's get into what happened at MSG, why it matters, and what it says about the state of Trump's MAGA movement as we head into election season. Section 1. Setting the stage at Madison Square Garden. The energy inside Madison Square Garden was electric, filled with thousands of Trump supporters donning MAGA hats, waving American flags, and proudly sporting merchandise emblazoned with slogans. For some, this rally was less about politics and more about being part of a community rallying around a central figure. It's striking how Trump's rallies have evolved into full-blown events that blend elements of sports, comedy, and political theater. And the evening didn't disappoint. The arena felt like a cross between a rock concert and a live taping of a reality TV show. It's no secret that Trump has a talent for spectacle, and this rally leaned into that with dramatic entrances, provocative speeches, and even some questionable entertainment. Section 2. The revival of Rudy Giuliani and the applause of MAGA loyalty. One of the most controversial figures on stage was former New York City mayor and Trump ally, Rudy Giuliani. Recently, Giuliani has faced significant legal and financial challenges, especially surrounding his role in spreading false information regarding election integrity. Just days before the rally, a court ordered Giuliani to surrender various personal assets, including his New York City apartment, luxury watches, and memorabilia, in order to satisfy financial penalties from a defamation lawsuit. Yet, in the MSG arena, Giuliani's legal troubles seemed to only increase his credibility with the audience. He received a warm, enthusiastic welcome, reminiscent of a hometown hero's return, symbolizing how figures aligned with Trump often gain support despite, or even because of, scandals and allegations. This reception speaks to a broader theme in the MAGA movement. If you're loyal to Trump, you're seen as standing against the establishment, and in return, supporters tend to overlook or even embrace legal and ethical controversies. Giuliani's appearance raises interesting questions about the MAGA movement's embrace of embattled figures. This isn't the first time Trump's base has rallied around controversial figures, be it Andrew Tate or Elon Musk. It seems the formula for acceptance in MAGA circles is simple: back Trump and the movement will back you. Whether it's allegations of criminal behavior or ethical breaches, MAGA supporters often frame these figures as underdogs fighting against a corrupt, liberal system. Section 3. Tony Hinchcliffe's controversial comedy. When edgy crosses the line. In a surprising twist, comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, known for his Kill Tony podcast, took the stage with a stand-up routine that raised eyebrows. Hinchcliffe is known for his edgy, often controversial humor, but his set at the Trump rally left a distinct impact. Joking about Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage, a line met with laughter from the audience. Hinchcliffe's attempt at humor played into racial and cultural stereotypes. In analyzing this performance, it's important to consider the context of the crowd and the setting. Comedy often pushes boundaries, but in a space where racial tensions and prejudices already run high, jokes targeting specific groups can serve to reinforce negative stereotypes rather than satirize them. For many, it seemed Hinchcliffe's presence was less about providing humor and more about pushing divisive narratives under the guise of comedy. Contrast this with popular shows like Family Guy, where the satire often ridicules bigotry itself rather than encouraging it. In the Trump rally context, however, the lines between irony and genuine sentiment blur. When the audience laughs, It's unclear if they're appreciating satire or expressing agreement with the underlying prejudice. This moment captured a broader problem within the MAGA movement, where the platforming of controversial figures who make divisive, even harmful statements has become the norm. Section 4. The hypocrisy of MAGA's rhetoric. Throughout the rally, several speakers hammered home one clear message: the American establishment is out to get Trump and his supporters. They painted a picture of Democrats as the enemy from within, a group supposedly plotting to undermine the nation and silence dissent. This language is both divisive and dangerous, especially when rallygoers already viewed Democrats and liberals as villains or threats to American values. Despite this, there's a glaring contradiction in the MAGA movement's rhetoric. Many attendees at the rally argued that Democrats are the ones being divisive. But in the same breath, speakers on stage labeled Democrats as degenerates, Jew haters, and lowlives, with the crowd cheering on each disparaging remark. These statements underscore a deeper hypocrisy. While MAGA supporters criticize Democrats for being too divisive, they seem willing to embrace language that dehumanizes their political opposition. This double standard reflects a kind of selective outrage within the movement, where accusations of divisiveness are only legitimate when directed at the left. When Trump or his allies use similarly inflammatory rhetoric, it's celebrated as patriotic or even necessary. Section 5. Apocalyptic rhetoric and its implications. The rally saw an escalation in apocalyptic rhetoric, with figures like J.D. Vance and others using language that paints the political landscape in black and white terms. One particularly intense moment was a speech where Democrats were described as Antichrist supporters and enemy infiltrators, stoking fears that the current political conflict is more than just policy disagreements. It's a battle for the soul of America. This kind of rhetoric isn't just divisive, it's potentially dangerous, as it frames political opponents as existential threats to the nation. When followers genuinely believe they're fighting against the Antichrist or an enemy from within, they may feel justified in taking drastic, even violent, action. This is where rhetoric crosses the line into fostering an environment where political violence is seen as acceptable or even necessary. So, there you have it. The Trump rally at Madison Square Garden wasn't just a political event. It was a showcase of the MAGA movement's new direction. Figures like Rudy Giuliani and Tony Hinchcliffe serve as examples of the movement's embrace of embattled and controversial voices, willing to overlook scandals as long as they align themselves with Trump. It's clear that for many in this crowd, loyalty to Trump outweighs almost any other consideration. The rally also highlighted a profound contradiction. While MAGA supporters criticize liberals for being divisive, they embrace rhetoric that's just as inflammatory, if not more so. And when the language escalates to labeling Democrats as enemies within or Antichrist supporters, it raises the stakes of political disagreement to dangerous levels. In a time where political tensions are already high, rallies like these only serve to widen the divide. The question remains, is this the kind of rhetoric we want shaping the political landscape? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay informed and stay critical.